I love Pokémon. I've been playing it since I was a kid, but I actually only recently got into the Pokémon Trading Card Game. There was a Stellar Crown pre-release event at a store near my house, and ever since then I was totally hooked. For better or for worse. A couple months in, I started to realize that I was actually getting pretty good at the game, and wanted to showcase that at a somewhat competitive level. Thus, I decided to enter my first regional level event, the Birmingham Regional Championships 2025.
Hooray!
It being my first ever regional event, I didn't have any expectations for how well I wanted to do. I just wanted to go and have fun and maybe perform a little better than I expected. And I definitely did that, achieving a top 32 placement at my first ever event.
Hooray! Hooray!
Don't get me wrong, I was thrilled at this result, but as time went on, something started speaking to me in the back of my mind. I really wish I didn't do so well so early. I knew that after this result, I would put pressure on myself to perform either just as well or even better at future events. And it being so early in my career, I thought this would stunt my growth. And I think that my next 3 events really showed that it did. I finally got another day 2 in Birmingham 2026, but I think the pressure just got to me too much. I was playing worse, making more mistakes, and then ended up finishing with a result I'm not very proud of. I just needed one more chance. One more chance to prove to myself that I can do it. Okay, now that we've registered, we can sort out a to-do list before the start of the tournament. Well, that's a given. That's easy enough. Okay, now that we have our to-do list, we can start. Picking a deck for an event is never an easy task. It takes a lot of meta-analysis, preparation, and practice to make sure you can play the best deck for your tournament. I played this Goldengo list to Birmingham, and it felt fine, but there were some issues I had with it. A lot of Goldengo lists without a dedicated cornerstone out were beginning to perform well, and I figured that some Absol players may take that as a sign to start playing cornerstone again. Also, despite how teched out this list was for the mirror, it was still coming up short sometimes. The mirror was really feeling like it just came down to RNG, despite how well I thought I was playing. I really just wasn't looking forward to playing the mirror anymore. Is there a way that we can fix both of these issues? Now, Cornerstone in Dengo isn't a new idea. You do already play the fighting energy, and is a very effective way of dealing with the mirror. This does force us into needing to play Technical Machine Turbo Energize, as otherwise we'd be too slow in our attachments to the Ogerpon and it wouldn't be anywhere near as effective. I'm not complaining at all though, this card may have been the best card in the deck at this event. Here is the final deck list that I landed on for the event, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm very proud of this. Notably, this list is playing Secret Box instead of the Prime Catcher that I played in Birmingham. I think for a deck with as many moving pieces as this one, Secret Box is probably better. I was only playing 3 Fighting Gong in favour of a Team Rocket's Watchtower, but I ended up cutting the Watchtower because Charizard was on the decline and I wanted the extra consistency instead. I've just gotta hope that I dodge Charizard as best that I can. All that's left for me to do is to travel to the event, and hopefully control my nerves. Okay, so you know that clip at the start that I showed of me walking down the corridor with the judges clapping? Yeah, that was actually from last year. When we got to the venue, there was a queue literally all the way down the Excel and back. It got to the point where we thought we weren't even going to make it in the venue for the tournament start, so they were forced to open a side entrance that I was forced to use. We still made it in time to have a quick look around, but I was really looking forward to the morale boost that those judges give you. Maybe next year, I guess. There's no time to mope though, pairings are already up. I wonder who I pair. Are we serious? It obviously isn't ideal to hit such a strong opponent so early, but somehow I don't feel sad. This doesn't change what I have to do. All I have to do is win, right? One benefit of playing against top players is they'll usually be playing a deck that you've practiced quite a bit against, and that is definitely the case here. Dragapult is definitely my most practiced against deck. There are some things to note about this list though, notably the 2 rare candy allowing for more explosive plays than usual. I'm able to start with Sorok to my opponent's Duskull, which is already a good start. But it gets even better as my opponent has a really slow start, not even announcing a Phantom Dive until I've already taken 4 prize cards. This allows me to make it rain, discarding 7 energy to knock out their Dragapult EX, giving me my last 2 prize cards to win the game before they even took any of their prize cards. They're able to take their revenge in game 2 though, being able to transform a board with just 2 Droopy into a rare Candy Dragapult Neo Upper Hole Lucha play to wipe out both of my Gimme Ghouls. I get to choose second in game 3 and we at least both get set up, but in this matchup that usually means that the Dragapult player has to hope that I whiff off an Iono to 2, which of course I don't because I'm playing Goldengo. And just like that, I was able to overcome a special event winner to win round 1 of the European International Championships. Starting 1-0 isn't the best result or anything, but at my last 3 events I've actually lost the first round, so it feels nice to finally start off with a win. Not to mention the confidence that I've just gained from defeating such a strong opponent. There's no time to rest though, I have to quickly recenter myself before the start of the next round. I'm going to try and speed up my recap so this video isn't too long, so the next few rounds I'm going to go through a bit quicker. In round 2 I hit the mirror. I'm able to win game 1, but in order to even play game 2 we both have to evolve into Dengos, and I eventually lose. Then in game 3, my cornerstone is unfortunately stuck in the prizes. Fortunately, a Bravery Charmed Sorok is able to buy me just enough time in order to take enough prizes to win the game. In round 3, I hit Charizard Noctowl, which is a matchup I was hoping to avoid, but I'm still able to win game 1 as they run out of resources. Then in game 2, both of their Terrapico surprised, meaning they can't even start playing. In round 4, I hit another Dragapult Dusknoir, which I'm very happy about, and even more happy about after I win game 1. In game 2, I'm about to go 4 prizes ahead by clearing their active Dragapult, but just before I do, I attach an energy to my Genesect. This play shut the door on their last win condition I could see, involving Iono, Countercatcher and Jamming Tower. This win advanced me to 4-0, but whilst this is amazing, this also meant that my opponents were going to get even more difficult. Absol is definitely one of my less tested against matchups, and I think that definitely showed in our game 3. They play a lot of ways to disrupt my usual game plan. It's a little difficult to play around all of them when you're inexperienced in the matchup like I am. In game 3, I'm forced to put Sorok and Lunatone in play to even start playing, but then an eventual Claw of Darkness discarding one of my Professor Turo means that I'll probably lose to Clutch. They begin clutching my Lunatone, and I take a quick look through my deck and realize I will not have the outs to win this game. I play it out for a few more turns, but it eventually leads to my first loss of the tournament. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was not feeling that good after this loss because it's one of those losses where it's hard to tell where you went wrong. But the tournament was nowhere near over, and I had to get my head back in the game in order to continue to do the best that I can. And skipping ahead a little bit to the end of day 1, I think I was able to recenter myself quite well. I cannot describe the elation that I was feeling in this moment to you. It was so intense. Not only was I currently in 12th place at the largest Pokemon tournament ever, not only was I the #1 UK player at a event in the UK, but my one loss was currently ranked #1. But more than anything, I'm so happy to be back on the tables where I can play the Pokemon that I want to play. I've experienced being on the top tables a couple times now, and it's the main reason that I keep coming back to play. The air around you is suffocating, and the stakes are so high that you'd need to not think about them in order to do well. Being a part of the highest level of play being played anywhere is such an amazing feeling. I've made it to where I wanted to be. Now all that's left is to see where that takes me. It's a long, painful wait for the pairings for the first round of Day 2 to go up. But turns out I didn't even need to use Arcanine to find my pairing. They put it on the stream. I was going to be playing against Jackson Ford, who has quite the array of accomplishments already. But this is what I wanted, right? To play the best of the best in a game with such high stakes. Jackson was actually sat next to me in one of the previous rounds, and in my head, I thought I saw that he was playing just regular Charizard Pidgeot, like when he won the Milwaukee Regionals. However, he was actually playing Charizard Noctowl, a fact that I didn't know until I'd already chosen second. This means that he's able to take the first prize card, eventually evening it out with a Briar play for his last 3 prizes. There is always something you can gain from a game that you've lost though. In this case, I was able to notice that at some point he discarded a Water Energy, which definitely meant that he was playing the Wellspring Mask Ogerpon EX. This was valuable information to have as we head to Game 2. I'm forced to start Gimmighoul, but I'm able to attach a Bravery Charm to it to make sure that it both doesn't die to Fan Rotom and Wellspring Mask Ogerpon. This meant that I went ahead in the prize race, eventually meaning that I only needed to take a 2-prize KO at the end of the game to win. My opponent Iono'd me, but I've been able to piece together the KO so many times over this tournament after an Iono. Surely I can do the same here, right? I did make a slight missequence last turn that slightly reduced my odds of drawing into the KO. But I just draw so many cards and my deck is so thin, it's still so likely that I get it. Flip the script, Lunar Cycle, coin bonus, and I don't get it. I lose the set, but my opponent played well, it was a bad matchup, and there's still plenty more Pokemon to play, so I can't get too sad. I just had to recenter myself before the next round and everything should work out fine. I can still make top cut. Next round I hit Marco Cifuentes, yet another top player who was even more decorated than Jackson was. He was playing Gardevoir, into which I have a pretty solid game plan of using Turbo Energize onto my Genesect. Usually Gardevoir's game plan in this matchup is to use Frillish to item lock me out of playing the game, but with a Bravery Charm Genesect in the active using Protect Charge, their Frillish doesn't even do any damage to it and also would just instantly die. Not to mention that if we're not getting item locked, we still have our Goldengo EXs in the back to threaten one-hit KOs on their Gardevoirs. I think Marco is taken a bit by surprise by this line, and it allows me to win game 1. In game 2, I'm forced to open Mega Mawile EX, and Marco realizes that this lets him go for a much more aggressive line than usual, as I have a 3-prizer on the board just waiting to be killed. I would usually consider using Professor Turo to just pick it up, but unfortunately both my Genesect and my Fez were in the prizes, meaning that the Mawile was the only thing I could Turbo Energize to. And if I don't Turbo Energize to anything, then I will have no out against the Frillish in the late game. I choose to play around Frillish, and Marco begins taking prizes faster than I can keep up, eventually meaning that I lose game 2. It all comes down to a game 3, with both of our tournament lives on the line. And all I can do is minor errand running until I lose. I can still get 2 wins and a tie to cash the event, But in the next round, I hit a Dragapult where I don't get to play either game, and I lose the quickest set of all time. I end up finishing 941 for 160th place. This is obviously not how I wanted this tournament to end, but even getting to the point where I was able to play against these players is an achievement in my eyes, so I can't be too mad. I was still able to place 12th after day 1, and even got my name to be on the stream, which I'm very happy about. And I was still able to enjoy the Sunday. We played some Cube, it was a good time. But more than anything else, this placement refueled my desire to want to perform well. I feel like I know that I'm good enough to, so yeah, this won't be the last that you see of me.